If we all believe that relationships are hard work, then this is what we are going to get. Words, the beliefs, the way we think is a very powerful approach to our reality. Several years ago, I said no to this paradigm and I started to invest really deeply in my relationship skills, understanding the underlying patterns, mechanics, blueprints, things at play. And oh my gosh, I realized that most of us invest more into our career than into our social skills. At that point, I had very clear we need something new. So 5 years ago, I founded Modern Couples, the antidote to couples therapy, because I believe that there is a group of people who wants to proactively learn these things much rather than wait until the shit hits the fan. There's a group of people out there, and you are probably one of them, and that's why you're here, who has no time for bad relationships. In this podcast, we talk about inspirational stories, role models, how to navigate the good, the bad, the ugly, and raise the bar, showing up for each other and for love. I speak with experts from different fields that potentially have never thought about how their expertise applies to relationships, but it does. And I share my own entrepreneurial journey. We talk about love, purpose, and growth. I invite you to listen up, not just with your ears, but with your heart. And share your aha moments, because that's what's going to rewire your brain to 10x your love. Welcome to the Modern Couples podcast, where we talk about all things for ambitious people to create the 10x kind of love. And today I have the honor and the pleasure to have Dajana here with me, who is also a relationship coach. And I look forward to talking to you about how to have a healthy, thriving relationship in these somewhat crazy modern times. We will dive into that. But before we start, Diana, please introduce yourself.
Hello, and thank you very much, Marcella, that I'm here, with you, and that we can share a nice, I hope, a nice conversation, nice talk. My name is Diana, and I'm a relationship mentor. Also, I'm an author, international speaker, and a medium. And all these aspects I'm putting together in my work, but I think what's very important that I'm together with my husband for 25 years now, and I'm quite happy that we found a way to establish a quality relationship during the time. Yeah.
25 years for us to explore here together and talk a little bit about the challenges and maybe also how, depending on the time and zeitgeist, and you can share about like 2 decades and more of how certain things that happen in the world affect the relationship as well, because I guess you also experience that. But clients coming to a coaching session, and there are so many things you can learn as a couple for how to be a couple. And then there are so many things to learn for how to be a couple in this craziness and world.
Right.
And it's already complex. And then you add the complexity of the world to it that is never not there. So it's always there and always part of a relationship. And it can feel very challenging. And I think especially in the last years that increased. But I would love to know, just because within modern couples, often the people that I interview are also entrepreneurs or founders, and that also adds its own complexity. You have your own business, the relationship coaching business, as a speaker. How is it for you and your partner? Is there a business, multiple business? Are you like, just give me an idea of what are all the things that you handle together, be it family, kids, like what is there on your plate to handle?
Thank you. Right. Yeah. First of all, I've got my own business, and which is mainly the relationship business, but also what I'm doing is together with my husband, because in parts of the relationship business, he takes place. If the male energy is on the plate, he's jumping in and gives really some good aspects, which I really enjoy, that we are working together in terms of these topics. the male
Mhm.
topics. And also, my husband is more into the business area. So he brings together, I would say, spiritual aspects and mediumship and also business. So he's living in different worlds and he's doing it on his own. I mean, he's got his own business, which is just his business. And so, what I do on my own as well is the healing. So, everything has to do with spiritual healing and mediumship. So, I'm the trainer for this as well. And this is just my business. So, this is on the plate. We don't have kids, but
Mhm.
we tried hard. It didn't work.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, this is also an issue for a lot of couples, you know, how to solve this out if there is a wish but it didn't work out. How do you handle that, especially in the relationship? So that's another topic. Yeah, this is how it works right now in our life.
Thank you for giving us just a little bit of the ideas of where we could take the conversation, because just to share a little bit of our connection with the audience. But you reached out a year ago when you saw the Modern Couples Summit that was happening in 2024. And just from my own entrepreneurial journey, in that time when the summit was out, I received so many requests of people that wanted to still join. And at the same time, I was navigating, all the viewers that were writing, navigating all the speakers to advertise. It was like all of a sudden, so many infos coming in. But you were one of the rare people that really stayed on it and was like friendly, accepting of like, I'm not available right now, but I really mean it, like reach out again. And you were like, yeah, like I'm gonna do that. And I really want to thank you for that, because we spoke right after the summit and I was really like overloaded back then still. But we found the connection of the same region that we come from, which is beautiful Münsterland in Germany. And I have a special heart for that region and the authenticity. I really mean it, from people living there. There's something magical in that region, where the world still is good, kind of.
True.
um,
It's true.
and and so we are here a year later, and also these things, the ability to wait for a person to come back or for things to unfold, creates trust. It's like it's instantly of like, there is, our small relationship planned that is virtually there, gets a drop of like, oh, she stays there, she's still there, that's good. I like this metaphor for relationships. But yeah, let's explore the relationship plant that you and your husband learned to nurture. And yeah, I would like to know, maybe first starting off with one of the most challenging times in your couple's relationship, and how you navigated that. What comes to your mind?
So we had really a lot of challenging times. So it's not only one. So I really have to think about. Um, we had a strong time when my partner had some difficulties concerning his business. So the income wasn't that high, and he was in a it was not only in a bad mood. He really came to a point where he said, "Whoa, I can really feel my value. I've got a lower value. I feel that." And that was something we really had to take care of. We had to look at this, and the honesty he came up with, I was really happy about it. So, and of course, we had a situation where the money was very at a low level. And especially, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this podcast right now, they were like, probably, yeah, I know. And when you have got a low level of income, just one person, there are always some, let's say, some, I wouldn't say fights, but it's a tough time. And you come to your points, to your emotional old points in your childhood. You come to that automatically.
Mhm.
And there are two aspects. One, you're aware of this with a good consciousness and work on it together. The other one is, okay, I separate. I'm not going further with this person. And we decided every day we go together. We go together, which is a
Every
decision
day, again
for
and
love.
again, huh? Yeah.
Again, we are one and we go together. And we managed it. It was not easy. It was brutal honesty. Brutal honesty. Who's doing what and about the feelings we had. And not about not coming into accusation, like, oh, it's your fault and you didn't do this whatsoever. And we managed that. And
Hmm.
we came out of this much stronger, closer together. And I could really tell everybody, let's face this kind of challenges. It's hard, it's a tough time, but it brings you together much closer.
It builds trust, yes. And the
Yeah.
challenge is to really, in these moments, find a pathway through. I don't want to say out, or away, or, and I think what many couples or individuals in that case underestimate is the amount of inner work and outer awareness for what's happening and what's going on, and that many of us have not developed the skills to walk side by side through this. It's literally a first time that you are in this situation with someone, navigating exactly the emotional cocktail that both of you have, the fears that both of you have, the
Yeah.
expectations that you have in this phase of life towards one another. And that creates its own potentially, explosive cocktail, but you don't have to let it explode. And there is a solution for everything, but it's not always about strategy. It's really about, showing up for the inner work and recognizing and honoring that most of us invested more times learning how to drive a car than learning how to be in a relationship.
Completely right. You're so right. It's true. Yeah. And how is it with you? Did you had a face with this kind of challenge and what did you learn about it?
So it's interesting that the challenge also that you chose, and thank you for bringing the question back to me, because I would say I had a similar situation with my partner, around his journey of finding his mission, so to say, right? The profession or mission that also brings in the money for the relationship. And, it was a challenge in my relationship, but not only that, I would say that I specifically attract clients where it is very often a strong, independent woman, whether she has a business or not, whether she is the breadwinner and makes the big money or not. And then there is the partner who is trying to be next to her and often struggles finding his mission. And it really impacts, just as you said, the relationship. So for me, this is a big one. How to support the couple in these moments when he is not certain about his pathway and how to provide for the family, which is such an essential part of being in the masculine pole in a relationship.
Right.
And I feel that that brings it like it's not to, it cannot be ignored in a relationship. And so in my personal story, I did ignore it, or I did take it too lightly. Same as you, first time in that situation. So for the first year, I was like, no worry, like I'm gonna take the bills. I can, we split based on our income. So basically, I had 90%, 80% of the expenditures, depending on how the money came in. And At the same time, I was sitting there and observing whenever he was resting on the sofa or reading the newspaper and, let's say, not acquiring clients or not working on his business. And um, while that did not lead to any explosions right there, I would say I was okay with it. Looking back, I would say it did have an impact on me feeling in my feminine, yes or no, me trusting my partner to guide us, yes or no.
Mhm.
And I wish I would have been able to actually have the words to address that and not shoulder it all on my own, but really say, I get it, like you need that time. And at the same time, the relationship is really suffering in it. And I was not able to express it. And back then, no couples therapist was able to point the finger at that and guide us through it. So we spent our money at couples therapists. I don't know, talking about how to communicate better, trying to find the 50-50 in this. And I remember, therapists poking at me and like the things I need to do. And I was just like, fuck off. Like, why am I even in therapy here? um, it was a challenging time, and I felt like we were lost in a forest and had no mentors or guides or coaches really helping us see what was really going on and how to navigate through it. Yeah,
Right.
that was
Yeah.
a big one. Mm. It's And also now when I well, maybe to bring the question back to you, but what would you do with a couple like that coming, let's say right now I have a client, he is in a midlife crisis kind of age, right? um,
Mhm.
I can see from an astrological point of view in his human design chart, he has the Uranus opposition happening, which correlates with what the mainstream calls midlife crisis. And he has currently no job, or is exploring, has certain offers on the table, but not really. And it is causing a lot of tension in the relationship. What would you do with a couple? And in this case, they are in their 40s. Yeah,
Right.
how would you
Okay.
approach?
Okay, let's start. So they are both there. Okay. Well, first of all, what I would do is, what are the expectations of the relationship? And did they find their own mission and their own vision only for the relationship, not even personally? Just, did they decide what is the sense of my relationship? Why I'm together here? For what? What is the reason? It sounds a little bit unromantic if I ask this question, but I think it's essential. And do they have the values on their own? And of course, as a couple, what are the values? And I would ask the question, what is something you would like to get fulfilled by your partner? What could you do to serve? Because everybody right now wants something from the other. Instead of that, asking the question, how could you serve the other person? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? And I would start with this kind of question, because if one of them has a middle age or a crisis whatsoever, how do you call that, is there's a question, always a question of sense. Why I'm here on earth, what I'm doing here right now, and is the path I'm taking right now the right direction? And it has to be answered. Just has to be answered. And probably I would start with this kind of questions, and then I would ask them if they are open for meditation, you know, because everybody knows himself what fulfills him. So, and yeah, that would be my first hour actually, to ask, to go for it.
And would you do that in a couples coaching session, or is that just a one-on-one? Because I really like where you take it. I fully agree. And these are
Yeah,
moments like I have purposefully set up my sessions to not always be together.
yeah,
Because if I have a sense of like, look, like it's this is not to blame someone or to shame someone. It's normal that we go through different processes, and it is important for the relationship for him to feel safe to go on his inner vision quest, so to say.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I would probably separate them, to ask both of them the questions and then tell both of them, come together, communicate about your results. And then
I love
the last one, I mean, or the next hour could be, coming together and then share the results. So, and what could they find out? And there would be some good results. If they're willing to take the path, there would be some good results. 100% sure. So it's just a matter of, do you really want to go further? Do you need some energy, which is the most important aspect? Because what I figured out is the energy we all miss right now, in the certain times we are in. The energy.
That is such a powerful one. My first session is always around like learning the language, how to communicate your energy levels or becoming aware of your energy levels. Because, like, thank you for booking me as a coach, but unless you don't take care about your individual energy, there's like you will be wasting money and keep paying me for like years to to teach you strategies that cannot solve your energy problem. like
That's right.
um but I mean, I do teach them, what to do about energy. But if they are not willing to, sleep, find more time to sleep, or drink more water, or go into nature and learn these things, then it's sometimes, yeah, it's really challenging. But you you open the door to talk about energy and this time quality. What do you see in particular in your clients that you work with that is particularly challenging at this time? It is summer 2025 right now, so we are looking at, the last year-ish. What are the energies that are, or the factors that are influencing couples? Because modern couples, from yeah, as I found it, it was really based on the idea that the zeitgeist, what is currently happening in the quality of time, has an impact on relationships. And I am living in Portugal now for 4 years.
Mm.
I do know that Germany, where you are based, has gone through a lot of change within the last 4 years. And I
Yeah.
do notice, when I specifically work with business clients, actually, that whenever I have them on the phone, like business leadership coachings, it almost feels like they want to get my Portuguese summer through the camera, as if they are lacking something so badly. And yeah, I haven't been for a while. So what's happening in your couples in the time quality that we are in?
Yeah, I think right now, and you're completely right, is in Germany we have got a kind of more depressed energy, if so to say. Uh, so the lack of getting energy to be more um, in a positive state, is lacking. This is the first aspect you have to know.
Yeah,
So
more vibrant, more alive energy.
yeah, we don't have that right now. So of course, my job, first of all, is to get the energy back and what to do with the energy. How can
Like,
you
why
get
why
back?
are we lacking it? Like, what happened in recent years?
Yeah.
It might sound like a stupid question, but what
No,
happened
no.
that is draining us in energy so badly? What are the
Yeah.
factors?
I think the first one is the influence on, well, let's say media. You know,
Mhm.
we face a lot of more negative information rather than positive information. The people are just hanging around the phone the social media and just scrolling because they don't want to see what's going on outside or what's inside. So, and they're influenced by that, which is not positive. The second one is go to nature. Please go into nature, right?
There is a
And
lack of doing that in modern days more and more. Yeah.
yes, and it's so important because go into the wood. It sounds easy, but it's just it really helps because you really could feel the energy, the closeness to the universe, to heaven, whatever you would love to call it. And I think it's just like um let me say it in this way, the as you call it, the zeitgeist here right now is more into we have got a time of change. It's just a matter of a few months. I would say how in a half year it will completely have a big change in Germany. So we are more on
Mhm.
the edge of um, a lot of structures which have to find new ways to be established.
Are you
And
talking political? Are you talking seasonal? Probably both of it, but yeah.
both of it,
Hmm.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that has an impact. Of course, a lot of people are
Yeah.
stressed by their jobs, um, and the
Right now,
idea of
people are
being
talking
independent.
about inflation. They are talking, about, I mean, since the Trump election, it has a major impact on the EU
Of course,
and instability in financial systems, this and that. And this
everything.
is not to be ignored for the impact
Exactly.
that it brings into society and therefore into your home.
Exactly, exactly. And this brings such what you have to do in order to balance the outside is first of all to balance your inside. You really have to work more on the inside to balance what's going on, the pressure from the outside, or the other way around. Yeah,
No, I love that. There is this saying, like, if you are into meditation, there's this saying, like, when you think you have no time to meditate, that's when you have to meditate even longer. And
exactly.
what you say sounds perfectly the same. Like, the more there's going on the outside, the more you need to stabilize your inside. And I
Absolutely.
would say, what is also part of the zeitgeist is um, in the last, like for everybody who is listening, they are adults. For them, it is normal what happened in the last 30 years, the internet, the digitalization, but now AI. We are kind of like used that there is new technological advancements like happening on a monthly base almost, but we are
Yeah,
not sitting down to see how it impacts the self and the relationship. And I was raised, and in my childhood years, I don't know where, but I already picked up this idea of like technological advancements are too fast for human evolution. So we are challenged by that, right? It's I would say it's more
oh,
needed than ever to invest in relationships because it's almost like you can do all the inner work and you can have done all the spiritual this and that and meditation praxis, but the complexities of this world, they are too much for one person to handle or
right.
to regulate, to be in that. And I do believe that a healthy, happy, loving relationship in modern times is even more essential to tackle all of that, and even more essential to create a home for offsprings to handle what is not yet even predictable to come.
It's true. It's so true.
Short interruption because this message really needs to go out there. The quality of your relationships impacts the quality of your life. It is, in fact, the key factor. And here we are, fearing and shying away from commitment, shying away from the emotional work, when really this is what distinguishes us from the machines, embracing emotions and learning how to embrace differences. So modern couples, what started out as the small coaching business has turned into a university, or I like to call it a universe. It is the place where Ambitious leaders can upgrade their relationship skills upfront. It is the place where couples turn to when they wonder, should I stay? Should I go? Where we explore, if necessary, the graceful path of uncoupling. And it is also the place where we newly introduce bespoke matchmaking for ambitious individuals. If you are interested in any of that, because really every phase of life is an opportunity to grow your relationship skills, check out modern-couples.com. Once a month, there's a free masterclass where you can meet me, where we can connect, as well as if you like more the one-on-one approach, there is a limited amount of free discovery calls. See that you can get hold of one of them, and I hope we get to connect. I look forward to elevating your relationship. What was something that you learned recently in your relationship as you are in these modern times?
So, what we discussed recently, well, it was not recently, I think probably after 22, 21, 22, is to see how would we love to live in the future times? How would we love to take care of our business? How much money do we want to have? How should our life supposed to be in the future times? So we raised this kind of questions and we came up with great ideas. What we have done was I went into meditation and I switched into my future. So this is
Yeah.
what you can do. You can just switch into your future times and you can feel it by your heart. Is um is this something which makes you happy? Just have do you feel the freedom here in this area, in this heart area? And I could see myself with my husband at the beach. We don't really have to work anymore. We work because we love to serve the people. We love to serve the world and we love to serve the people. We feel happy, and I could see friends coming visit us. We have good, I love food. We had good food, and we nurture us not only by food, but also by good good emotions, good talking aspects, good business ideas just coming up, and this kind of freedom we could feel inside, or I could feel inside. I came up with this idea, said to my husband, this is something I could see in my vision. And he said, well, it's so fantastic. It's great. Let's go there. Let's be there. And let's invite all the stuff we would love in the future. And what happened right now is this is what's coming up. So we're working on that. But I could see that some points in my life, they're coming to us right now. It's just we invited them because I always connect with the future, and that makes me happy. I'm like, yeah, this is what I want. Nothing to do with my mind, only something to do with my heart and the connection with the future. And that was for me. It was a game changer. But
When
I'm
you
still on the
started
way.
doing these time jumps or like connecting with, I like to call it, yeah, like quantum leaps, that when I connect with my future
Exactly.
self, with my past self, right? And to really feel how you can bend time. And it's for me, it's a skill of the future that I was not taught in school,
No.
and that I needed to learn. I taught myself, that I also teach my clients. And I think it is such a powerful one, because I think one of the challenges nowadays with all the things happening and being a generation that has their calendar in the pocket and basically every hour is already blocked for something, it's that our brain is thinking very short term and narrow. Um, and and that gets somehow in the way of relationships, I feel. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely. I've just I've got a couple right now, and they came up in our first, well, let's say in our first meeting. I call it meeting. I asked some question. And they come up with some issues, with some challenges. For me, they were quite clear, but not for the couple. And I talked with him yesterday, and he said, "You know what? We are not clear if we want to continue the relationship." And I said, "Oh, I can understand. Yeah, because it costs us too much energy." And I said, "Right, I got it. So, what is the idea
You're
of
like,
the
yep,
future?" Yeah,
another line on your list of like, heard that 100 times.
I heard that 100 times.
The
It's true.
relationship is driving us crazy. It's costing too much energy. Let's better end it. Like the standard sentence. Yes.
Exactly. And I said,
Yeah.
"So,
Please
what do you
continue.
believe in the future? Would you meet a women, which would be much easier? So, why do you think that? Why do you think this? Because if you once you have this inside of you, you would attract another woman, probably not with dark hair, probably with blonde hair, probably a little bit different. At the end of the day, you would challenge the same challenges again. You would see them again." And I said, as long as you're not finding out what's going on inside of you, you would attract them because you can't. And I told him that you can, of course, you can split up, of course, but 100% sure I can write your certificate. You would attract another person,
Yeah.
with the same challenges you would face again. So the zeitgeist at the moment is right now, oh, let's split up. That's too difficult. Next. And I'm like, wow, everybody wants to have a soul partner. And once there's a little bit of conflict, a little bit of, wow, my ego is not served, they love to split up. And I'm like, whoa, I know how it feels if the ego is just, oh, I don't like this. Ugh.
Yeah.
But you have to overcome it. You have to brutally honest. This is what you have to be. Because it's you who attracts the person. It's your world. Yeah.
It's one of those, like, I wonder where and how children, teenagers, adolescents need to learn this or could learn it. Where could humans learn this
Yeah.
so that they don't always come with the same issue into therapy and coaching if they are lucky? Oftentimes they don't even come and they just give up. But they are not aware. They what I see is, okay, so I'm not sure this is going to continue. I'd rather break up. And,
Mhm.
they envision this bright future of like there's going to be this easy other woman or easy other man, and life is just going to be peace and harmony.
Yeah.
But somehow they don't see far enough into a future whereby there will be a version of them looking back at that challenge, being proud of how they navigated that, telling a story in a podcast about the 25 years of relating and how they overcame that. That is going to inspire, hundreds, thousands of people, because those are the stories that we need to hear as
Yeah.
teenagers and adolescents, so that we know in a moment of difficulty where to turn to, which is hopefully our elders, or this podcast, or
Right.
a coach. Because if I get so passionate about these things, because it's, I mean, you and I have the professional bias, which is, I'm sure you have that as well. Couples, when they come, typically come with already challenge ahead. So sometimes it's really a challenge to see that there's also healthy, happy couples who stay in it and don't just give up, right? But yeah, it is one of these moments where, as a relationship coach, I'm always like when they leave, when our session is done, I'm still sitting there like holding their vision up high, and praying and hoping, and hope that I said words that touched the heart
Yeah.
somewhat to inspire, that it activates faith in them to stay in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
great. This is so important. It is so important because everybody wants to have peace. Everybody is talking about the peace or the war outside. But it starts with us first and then in our families. Well, the base is a relationship. And then you are the person who's leading the kids. They're showing up like, oh, mom and dad are cool. Wow, they can overcome challenges. So this is what we need. This is what we need. And I would be happy. Nobody taught us at school, or my parents are divorced. Of course, they are divorced. And nobody's telling. My father told me once, he told me, I'm feeling so sorry that I couldn't be a better father for you. And I said, listen, you were great. I'm happy because I have chosen the right guy. He's my soul partner. But it doesn't mean that's every happy, holy, and harmony. No, we have got challenges. But at the end of
Yeah.
our life, we ask ourselves the question, what would be the best one at the end of our lives? The best one would be, how could I serve the other to be closer to his real, real goddess or his real God inside of you? That you fulfill what is needed in your life, why you came here as a soul on earth. And this is what I want. At the end of my life, I would say, wow, we've done a good job. We served each other, and he came nearer to his, well, to his soul.
Essence. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And the other way around. And but we decided before we got married, we decided that we want to help each other in these terms. Well, you always can make the decision, every time of your marriage or partnership.
Mhm, mhm. I mean, how did you come up with such a principle so early on? So, I mean, both of you got married, and I assume, correct me, but that at that time you did not do, both of you, a year-long personal development and couples coaching right away. And I do feel it takes certain awareness to say, okay, it's not going to be vows of pretty words written by GPT nowadays. It's going
No?
to be, like a real promise that I feel in myself. And even the idea of coming up with principles of how we show up for each other, like what, yeah, how did the two of you, so to say, get to that point? That's very special that you saw this early on.
I met my husband at work, first of all. And before I met him, I decided for booking a coaching session, a 1 year training, intensive training in terms of all life aspects. So I came up with that because during this time I was a single, and I was like, wow, I think it's time to find the right person. It took me 3 months to find the right person, just saying, just to get note. And then we came together as a couple, and I said, you know what? I booked a training, a coaching training, and also relationship is part of that. And he said, are you sure? And he wasn't, at the beginning, he was not even sure about what coaching would be. He was like, are you mad or what's going on? What is that? And I said, listen, just listen to me. You learn something. You learn something about relationship and sense of life and all this stuff. I think it's a good idea. And one day he came up. He came up with me to the coaching session. I asked my coach during this time, and then we joined a 1 year training together. And that was really a good base to be aware of certain aspects in our life. And I would, everybody who probably just decided for for marriage should start with that, because it's good to know, oh, how could we deal with money, what shall we do with money, how shall we do with our inner childhood, what is the sense in my life, the values, the mission, and all this stuff. We came up with it.
Love it.
Me
I'm
too.
like, yeah, like you just blew my mind with that because that was the year 2020 or that was the year 2000 probably or even earlier, right?
Yeah, it was
Um,
2002. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, I was I was still in school at that time. Yeah. So I was still dealing with my first heartbreak, so to say. But, you know, it took me 10 years longer to get to the point of like exactly as you describe it, do the personal development and we came from the problem perspective, which is usually where couples start calling us. But really, what I pray for, what I wish for, and what modern couples is meant to signal, and I would, from your story now, say, oh, you are doing the same thing, is to reach couples or individuals like early on in their relationship with the mindset of get things right. Like, don't wait for problems to come. Like, learn about relating because probably you haven't. If you are born at this time, like, odds are your parents got divorced or your parents were not there emotionally for you or this and that. And like, let's get this right. This world needs more healthy, happy couples who know how to navigate the complexities of this because like one thing that I also observe is just, let's say, the amount of people's oversensitivity or short nervedness with
Hmm.
each other, whether it is in the workplace, whether it is on the train, whether it's so like one wrong look and it's just like that's where we are at. But if you have a healthy, happy home to come to, you leave your apartment a different person. And I do see how, if there's a balanced, sometimes I also say, a balanced and well fucked person that is just, happy and healthy in their life because sexuality is part of it,
Right.
you tackle the challenges that are out there completely different. If you feel your energy good walking out of the door, then, you greet people with a smile. We do that in Münsterland. We greet each other and we say, have a good
Yeah.
day, and it does change the life of another person if you greet them like that, and that can create an upward spiral where ideally things go to. And yeah, that's why I'm so I think why we both are so passionate. So I love that story. Thank you for sharing how you met and underlining the importance of coaching early on. Yeah.
On
Yeah,
all the
especially in this
aspects of life. Because once you have the tool, it's like, well, you have the hammer and you know what to do. You have all the tools to work on it. And this is what is needed. Who is teaching you that? None, nobody. And once we are talking about
nobody.
what is a new world, I could only say the new world for me is awareness, consciousness. Be rise your consciousness. This is a new world. And there's nobody from outside coming saying, now we have the new world. No, it's your development. So working on that is the best investment you could ever do. It's the
Mhm.
only
Mhm.
thing which makes, well, to my mind, it which makes you happy. Because this
Yeah.
is why the souls are here, for the development, not for the harmony. Unfortunately, not. I love harmony as well, but it's not the sense, not the purpose of our life, and not the purpose of our soul.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And I'm just thinking of, the topic of thriving relationships in these times. We have mentioned a few of the factors. We have mentioned a few of the things for in regards to inner world. Um, and I do feel there is there is almost like this social aspect to it that came out from just this last share here. If we do want to live, if we do want to feel a new world, just like in the couple's relationship, there is a learning of how can I be of service, not naively, not, we are not, we are talking about a certain quality of relationship, right? I feel I need to say this at least once. Like when we say stay in the relationship, this is excluding abusive situations and toxic
Exactly.
situations. There's other moments where, and similarly, when we say, be of service, it's something that happens when you feel like you are giving from a place of love that activates something inside of you. People experience a new quality of love when they hold their baby for the first, like in their arm. It's
Yeah.
not always on the first look, but the heart starts expanding. And when you feel safe to do that, and got, it's just normal habit to do that for your family, it becomes like a muscle that is trained, that you can also show up in social settings and be of service. And gosh, the world needs this. And
Yes.
is so, like, I see it when there is a person that has this energy, like, yeah, people are just drawn to it, this person. So it's not like they are all just sucking out. There's also coming something back, right? I was sharing in the beginning, like people book me because they get the Marcella that is in Portugal and not the Marcella that is, somewhere in a,
In Germany.
I don't
Yeah.
know, energy drained place, and I receive something back, right? Like there is an exchange, and totally fine with that version and how we show up for each other. Um, Diana, I would like to briefly take the conversation also to the area of wanting to conceive and not being successful, as this was something you shared in the beginning. And I do feel it's a challenge in modern times as well, and in particular as fertility rates are going down,
Mhm.
and um, how to navigate that, or what helped the two of you to go through that time and stay together.
Right. We were quite honest about well, right at the beginning at our relationship, if we want to have kids or not. And I said to him, well, if we have good kids, it's fine by me. And he had the same opinion. It's fine, but it's not necessary. And I think that that really helped us. We went to the fertility center and they figured out, well, I'm sorry, you both of you can't get children. It's not possible right now. And the second aspect was that we looked at each other and said, well, then we have a dog. We don't have a dog right now, but sometimes there was I asked him, are you feeling sad about that we don't have kids? Because I could answer for myself that I'm not really that sad. I don't have that. And he said, yeah, sometimes it would be good, but that's that's fine right now. It's fine. We're talking about it. We're talking about and my friend, a good friend of mine, she has got a kid, and we take care of this kid. Both of us. And I said to him sometimes, you know what? I really love this kid. I really love him. But isn't it nice to have it at the weekend? And then we go back home and don't have the responsibility. And he said, yeah, you're right. You know, so it's not like, wow, we're getting depressed. But what I could tell every couple is be honest and ask yourselves a question: is this the sense of your life? If it is so, then there would be some options, some possibilities. But for me, it wasn't. So, as a soul, I'm 100% sure that in this life, it's not my first priority. I've got probably another soul jobs. I love the kid of my friend. We are visiting him once a month, and he's happy about it. We are happy about it. But I have the feeling, and I know it from the future work I do, that this is not my first priority. So figure out, is this something in your mind? Is this something which your body tells you, your heart tells you? Is it really a wish or something which the society tells you to have kids? Figure that out. This is how we came up with it. This is how we worked on this, well, challenge. Yeah, in a way, it was a challenge, but yeah, um, I'm fine with that completely.
I think what stands out in your story is also that both of you gained clarity. It sounds like early on, like or you tried and then you got results from a clinic. I
Right?
mean, and these results are not always like cemented in stone,
No.
but still it does. I mean, I also have couples in my coaching that, you know, do not have that these results, and I wonder, you know, what is actually better, because I see them hustling for, you know, half a decade already.
Yeah.
And it also brings a burden on the relationship
Yes.
if you yeah are on that schedule that is made by the medicine system, for, you know, in vitro or whichever pathway
Hmm.
that, yeah, like I have invested my last year in getting further education in fertility and
Hmm.
conception, because it is a topic in relationships, right? And
Yeah.
I do feel, yes, there is part what you beautifully describe of the inner work, and something that comes with personal development and coaching. I do feel that people have the opportunity to feel more complete in themselves if you know your sense
Hmm.
of being and why you are here. Um, and sometimes there's this need for a child because you don't know who you are sometimes, not
Hmm.
always. So I do feel that is really essential, and, you know, you were able to navigate that and bring the tools together to be like, I know how to make peace with it,
Hmm. Right.
which is beautiful. And then there is many things that from what I learned, um, on fertility and conception, that I'm only realizing, like, the more I'm diving in, that the way modern time, talking about the time quality and the zeitgeist, is leading us to live our life, is not at all beneficial for fertility. And many of the reasons why there is infertility is because most of us lack skills and awareness about what is actually needed to get the job done, which is more than a job. It's not just, you know, it's not just have intercourse and see that the sperm hits the egg. There is so much more to it. And actually, if people were, and including myself, people were more aware around what it means to be fertile and fully healthy and fit in your body,
Hmm.
um, it creates a completely different foundation for the possibility of a conception. And so it works in this way of, like, you need to be fertile to conceive, but also you can be healthy and not conceive. That can happen, right? But just this idea of um, like detoxing the body half a year earlier, really making sure of what you consume. You mentioned, right, the media, the things that we let our body infiltrate. If you feel insecure in your body as a woman because they are talking about war and inflation and you don't know if you can pay next month's bill, your body is not ready to receive a child. Your body is saying, like, this is not a safe environment, right? Like, this understanding around it, I do feel that it would help many couples to understand why they are what they are navigating. Are they creating more stress with the fertility clinic? Are they even, you know, getting their energy into the right shape to do it? And then, you know, can you live a life and be happy no matter what the outcome is going to be?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's totally right. Yeah. Yeah. At
Mm.
the end of the day, if it doesn't work, as a soul, a young soul or an old soul is not coming to you, and there's a reason for it. And figure out the reason. You know, it has something to do with you. um, and this could help to figure out your mission, why you are here. It could lead
Yes.
you to that, right? So that's a
Why is this
positive
happening
aspect.
for you? Yeah.
It's a positive.
Last but not least, how are you using astrology in your couples coachings and therapy sessions?
Not really. So I myself,
Or
I'm
spirituality, right? Like the channeling.
exactly. So I use basic astrology that I've got a little bit of an idea. I myself, I'm Pisces, so nothing more to say about that. So, and am I? How do you call that? Ascendant? How do you call it in English?
Ascendant.
Ascendant, right? Is Gemini. So what I have got,
Communication.
yeah, deepness and the death on the one hand from the Pisces, and also the good contact above, and the communication
Mhm.
skills of Gemini, right? But I've got in other planets which I haven't got a clue about it, about lions and a Leo, not lions,
Yes.
Leo, Capricorn, but I haven't got a clue about it. So what I do is basically I get the information from above. I could feel it's two souls in front of me and they match or they don't match. I could feel the energy level. And this is how I work. I work mainly with the information which I'm getting from, I call it God. Somebody else, you can call whatever you like. I call it, I get the information directly from God. So this is how I work. I'm feeling, mainly I'm feeling and I'm telling, because I know what I'm saying when I'm talking to them, it touches the heart or the soul. And I always tell them, don't even believe me. Just feel if this gets touches you. So this is what I mainly do. I'm working, of course, with knowledge of Kundalini yoga. So which has something to do with breathing, with um, uh, and also I'm working with aspects of well, truly with coaching, and just forgot the word. It's coming later.
Say it in German.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm thinking too much in German, yeah. So what was it? That's coming later in it. So this is what I'm mainly working with it. And if I have so many things in my mind, if I bring this together, I know it's helpful, but the truth is just in seconds in me. And this is mainly how it works. I've got
Mhm.
some shamans which are guiding me as mentors. So I'm getting this information as well, and I'm learning with this as well. And yeah, so all the I can't even say which parts I'm working with, because I got so many, well, yeah, knowledge. If someone said, where does it come from? I said, well, I don't know. You know, is it true or not? Yeah. So this is, yeah, how I do it,
But
right?
you use it in your coachings as well,
Everything.
as intuitive impulses and guides, and yeah, yeah. Um, I just something that I recently learned and am passionate about when it comes to relating. So I am I am more into the astrological side of things. So all the planets, all of that. We
Mhm.
are right now in a lunar eclipse season, and I can feel energies boiling up everywhere, and things want to be transformed. But
Good.
even more so, I use human design
Mhm.
very specifically in my coachings, and for
I'm
me,
an
it's like the
MG.
number. work. Manifesting generator, high five, I'm too. And for me, it's like the number one tool when it comes to I want to do a compatibility test, right? Like sometimes we have this curiosity, whether it is playful or really helping a relationship to get to the core and solve an
Mhm.
issue. So I do compatibility tests. But one thing I recently learned, and let's see if I can put it in words, but is
Mhm.
that there is triggers in human design that we have with one another. Like
Mhm.
we all know what triggers are, but there is, so to say, triggers when two people come together that cannot be removed. They will just stay there for as long as these people stay in a relationship. And it's almost like
Mhm.
karmic triggers. And even if you know it, they are just going to be there. And whether they are between you or whether this topic comes into the relationship with this partner,
Mhm.
um, and the trigger can be enforcing, uplifting equality, or um, downgrading it, right? It can
Right.
lift you up into a higher self, and it can also push you more into your lower self, kind of thing. And that really brought up for me the question of like, holy shit, why are we in relationships? And there is these dream couples that look like perfect and they can be together for 25 years. How have they navigated these triggers that cannot be resolved? Like there are so many things you can, well, I want to cut it short because we are at 1 hour. But
Mhm.
the way I resolved it for myself was to see that something that is special for this time quality is that you and I and people around us live longer than ever before. We are in relationships longer than ever before. And we still have the mindset of I say yes to a partner and then we have to stay together forever, which is still a beautiful idea. And I think for many, that is just the way to go. However, when I open my mind to the idea that actually there might be a life partner for certain lessons for both of us to learn. And, then it might also be a moment, and that is the only moment when a relationship should end, when both find the love and grace to say, we are complete. And there is no, nothing else but, wow, like we learned so much with one another. And like when I see you tomorrow, I still want to hug you. I still want to, I appreciate you. And, we are complete. We have learned what needed to be learned. I know that I'm going to attract a new partner now
Mhm.
because there's something else for me on my spiritual path to learn in my last third of my life, so to say, whatever. And
Right.
with that partner, I'm going to experience other triggers. And that was my way of making peace with the idea of, the lifelong partnership, but then the compatibility test fails. And we get triggering each other. I'm like, okay, maybe there is life partnership and certain things that we are here to learn. So I'm also still on my I will never not learn. I will never not learn. And human design is what I use. Diana, this was a very uplifting MG conversation. I love that we had the time. I do want to give the last words to you and something that you feel. Is there something left that was inspired in our conversation that you want to drop last but not least? And also, please share how people can contact you.
Right. Yeah. Do I have last words? I I would be happy if more and more people make the decision of finding the way to themselves through partnership and finding and having the idea of I would love to have a new partnership, a new world. These are my last words. And the people who are interested in, there are more people, I would say Generation X, and who are open for, let's say, spiritual aspects in relationship mentoring. And but as I said at the beginning, down to earth, because I think it has something to do with the region, probably this kind of very
Yes,
earth people centered here. I love it. I really love it. The mixture
I
is great.
cannot
I
wait
love
to
the
go back.
mixture. And so if they want to join and would love to have an intensive training, what we are offering is a very intensive training with couple also in one-to-one sessions, but also with a couple together. So we really have a kind of good mixture came up with. And also getting some new information, let's say how to communicate effectively. What could you do? What do a man need? What do a woman need? So, like, oh, can I learn this kind of, I would say, basics? And if you would love to have this intense training, you're very welcome to connect with us. And so we have this in German or in English. So, whatever you would love to have, we can offer that. If you say, well, I'm not happy with this intense training, you can start with an introductory, like to give an idea if I like it or not. But if you really want to go really deep and intense, I'm happy to see you. Right? We are working online.
Wonderful. And I can recommend these deeper journeys, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. It's your future self will thank you that you made a commitment in the past to stay in it, even though it's painful and you don't want to look at something that's coming up. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
stay in it, stay in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Be happy
Wonderful.
about the pain. It sounds like, wow, she's mad. But yeah, be happy about the
Sometimes
challenges. Be happy about it because it brings you further.
there's some challenges where it's just time to walk through and to be with the pain and then resolve it and heal it. And yes, been through some of these many times. Dajana, thank you so much for this conversation. Imagine a world where emotional mastery, relational support, and inner work come before heartbreak, resentment, divorce, reactivity. And you know what increases the odds of your 10x kind of love? Taking people along, sharing this with the people that have the biggest influence on you. If you like this podcast, please subscribe to my channel and share it with one or the 5 people that have the biggest influence on you and that deserve the 10x kind of love. Let's raise the bar stronger together.